Keyoka, the awkward Black nomad. I'm a writer, I'm a dog mom, and I travel solo. If you're a Black woman who might be a little shy, might be a little introverted, might be a little awkward, I'm here to tell you that you too can travel the world by yourself. And if you want to, you can bring your dogs with you. My content focuses on solo travel, dog travel, and sometimes I invite my friends on the channel to tell their business these international streets. We have been reviewing a new show on Max called Coming From America, where a group of Black American families go to different countries in Africa to relocate. So to be honest, this episode was a little boring for me. It was a lot of the Smileys and the Kellys and their foolishness. I would totally understand if you want to skip to the end of the video for when I talk about Julia and her date with that man. I'm not even gonna be mad about it. So the episode opens up with the Kellys and they're eating at a Ghanaian restaurant. Thoughts? Y'all ain't never had African food before at all? Let me tell y'all something. If I don't care where you are, find yourself some African food. I know that food was good. I could tell from the steam coming up off them bowls. I know that food was good. But what really got on my nerves in the scene was them making such a big deal about eating with their hands. So I wonder, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong in the comment section, right? But I grew up around different cultures and having different eating experiences. So it's nothing for me you could really put anything in front of me and I'll try it. I always say that, I'll try it. I don't understand why they made such a big deal about eating with their hands. You should just adapt. This is what we do here. Let's eat with our hands. All right, we'll just give it a try. And also, this could have been a Google search, right? Maybe that's something they never thought they had to consider, but I just feel like this would have come up. I don't understand how this has never come up. Do people not know this? Do people not know that in certain cultures you eat with your hands? Let me know. Because maybe I just know something and I don't realize that other people don't know it. It could be very much that. I thought it was really interesting how the little baby, Hunter, said, he made a comment about he doesn't want people to think he doesn't have manners. You see how white supremacy touches the young? You see that? For a boy so young to be concerned about whether or not he looks like he has manners, or as we call it, home training, that he comes from a good family. Like, that to me was just so interesting. And I think that's why it's so important for children to have different experiences, right? Because you get to decide what manners look like. And honestly, if we're really being honest, it changes depending on whatever location you're in. So in another scene, Lamara and Gerald go to take a walk. Lamara don't want nothing to do with that man. That's what I got. They're very vague about whatever these marriage issues are, but I don't feel like she is interested in, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But it's on TV and this is just what I see. At one point, Gerald said, "Let me lead you." Sir, you are out of breath. How you gonna lead when you out of breath? I'm just asking for the people. Where they do that at? How you gonna lead? You can't even walk up, you can't even really walk. I don't know how long they was out there, but it didn't look like they went far. Another thing I noticed, Gerald keeps saying her kids, my kids. Now, to my understanding, when people have a blended family, it's our kids. You're supposed to be using plural language, not singular language, because I feel like that causes division within the family. And obviously, I don't have no children, so I don't know. But if you were trying to have this blended family and show a united front, there shouldn't be no my kids, your kids kind of business, because that kind of rhetoric, the children pick up on that. Do you get what I'm saying? Also, Lamara mentioned that she does music journalism and that she had to put her career on hold to help Gerald live his dreams. I feel like you could do that in Ghana, or you could work online. It's journalism, so that's writing. So I don't know. But I think a lot of women have that story, right, where they give up their careers to focus on the children and help their husbands, and then they start looking around, wondering, what am I supposed to do with my life? So I really hope she's not in that kind of situation, but I also don't think their marriage will survive this trip. So I don't know. We'll see. Lamara goes to get her hair braided, and those people told her that it was $20, the equivalent of 20 USD. I'm gonna need us in America to stand up against the hair braiders. Y'all are overcharging us, and it is wrong. And you want too much. A lot of y'all, you want me to come with my hair washed, my hair blown out. You see this? You know how much money it costs to get my hair braided? Anyway, so while Lamara is getting her hair braided, the guys are at the house. Now, my issue with this is, Gerald complains about his sons wanting to play video games and stay in the house. He also complains about not seeing any wildlife. But all of these things are choices, right? You see how the Smileys got up and went on a safari. Why don't we see the Kellys going to do something? And why are they not interacting more with Ghanaian people? Am I tripping? Like, you're really not doing anything. And it's kind of frustrating. It's kind of frustrating to see, because you can't complain about the experience when you're not being intentional about your activities. Or are they cutting it out because this is a TV show? That's also possible. But I don't know. Gerald was complaining because the little baby Hunter had nightmares and he was crying or something. He asked his mom to come and sleep with him. Again, I done said this before, Lamara don't want nothing to do with that man. So she easily went to go live with her baby. That makes sense to me. If anything, I thought it was a little inappropriate that he was talking to his son about them being intimate. Because I don't know how old he is, like 8 or something, like 9. He's got to be no more than 10 years old. He can't be no more than 10 years old. And you talking about, oh, you need to sleep by yourself because I'm trying to sleep with your mama, whatever. It's like, ew. The middle son said the thing that made the most sense this entire episode. They got mosquitoes in America. And that was for you, Elaine, because you keep talking about the mosquitoes. They got mosquitoes everywhere. There's certain things I'm like, this is not a foreign experience. This is an experience that you could be having anywhere. And I bring that up because, not to go forwards, but like, Elaine said something about how when they were in the water in the safari, she said something about how this feels so foreign. And it's like, they got swamp tours in New Orleans. They got mosquitoes everywhere during the summertime. What's foreign? Like, certain moments of this show that really make me feel like you're trying so hard to other Africa. And it kind of makes me uncomfortable, because as Black people, you understand what it feels like to be othered in the US. The thing I noticed is, have you guys realized there's these, wide pan aerial shots where you can kind of see different landscape. You can see like nature, but sometimes you can see like houses. But then whenever they zoom in, it's always shacks and like huts and like, people who look poor, and like kind of everything is kind of run down, like, oh, this is a bad area. But then you have these aerial shots of like big ass houses, or I'm not understanding. So anyways, not to go on a tangent, the Kellys received goats and chickens from the king and queen mother. Those goats were cute. Those goats were really adorable. So apparently it's a Ghanaian custom to welcome new people with goats, and goats are expensive, so it's a really good gift. We saw that on Real Housewives of Dubai. Imam, I don't think she's not Ghanaian, she's like Somalian. I'm sorry. Iman gave Lisa a goat on Real Housewives of Dubai. And she said, this is a gift. Every time you go to someone's house, you bring a goat. Or you bring a gift. You don't go places empty-handed. We have that same tradition in the South. You don't go to people's houses empty-handed. So, the goats is really cute. I personally don't like goats. Our family used to have a farm, and I got chased around a bonfire by a goat. It was a crazy goat. It was a grown goat. I'm kind of scared of goats. But those goats were adorable. I don't know why they had that chicken sitting sideways in a box though. That was kind of strange. So, the Smileys. The mother-in-law comes to town. I don't know how y'all do it. I'm probably never gonna get married because I could not tolerate that lady in my house with her little comments. I couldn't tolerate it. I really could not. And you know, I'm gonna say this too. As somebody who has now lost my mama and my grandmama, nobody can really be disrespectful to me. Now, I'm a sweet person. I'm very kind-hearted. I'm very nice and I'm very patient. Sometimes child borderline people pleaser. But don't come in my house and be disrespectful to me, because Annette Kinsey not here no more. And she was really the only person who could stop this mouth from chewing you up. So that's why I don't know how people deal with rude grown adults talking to you crazy. I don't know how they do that. I don't know. I can't relate. But anyways, her mother-in-law came in that house and started talking about how they somehow are able to afford a helper. And tell me what you think, but I feel like she was insinuating like, oh, you did all this stuff by yourself and you worked back home, as if how dare you experience ease and luxury, as if she was supposed to be working. I almost said slaving away. That's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. And did you see how she kind of made a face when, I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name, but like helper, when the little housekeeper went to hug her, and that lady made a face like she didn't want to hug her. That's so rude. That's just rude to me. I don't understand that lady. But Elaine's whole thing in this episode is she's worried that the mother-in-law will tell her mom not to come, that she had a bad experience, so her mom wouldn't want to come. And so a lot of her tolerating this lady's little snide comments has to do with the fact that she wants her mom to come, which I totally understand. Y'all need to get it together. Stop fighting. It's kind of sad. I can only imagine if my mom was still here. My mom was not somebody who would sit on a plane. I don't know how long the flight is to Zambia, but if I was in another country, I don't know that my mom would sit on a plane and come and visit me either. Shoot, I have trouble getting my sisters when I'm nomading around the world, getting my sisters to come and visit me, because they don't like flying. My mom went on her first plane ride when she was late 40s. And I think part of that is culturally, people in New Orleans don't really travel a whole lot. That's why I get really excited when I see people from New Orleans like going to different places and traveling, because really we didn't grow up seeing stuff like that. But anyway, Elaine, later on, her and her husband, they go out on a date. And it was cute. I thought it was really interesting that they decided to spend time talking about how he's received as a white man in this predominantly black country. I thought that was an interesting choice. Elaine says that she doesn't think about the fact that he's white, which I guess I can kind of understand. When I dated a white guy, I feel like it didn't really come up because he was someone who was racially conscious. He was very educated and he read a lot of books. Not formally educated, but he read a lot of books on race and history and stuff like that. So he was very well versed on race politics. But Elaine said something last episode that I didn't touch on, but I kind of want to bring up here because I think it relates. She said something about when she was talking about how her mother-in-law was going to think that, oh, your black wife dragged you to this African country. And she said, I'm not even from there. You not? Some of y'all don't understand that the same ship that dropped y'all off in the Caribbean was the same ship that dropped the rest of us off in America. Just saying. So the next scene, the Smileys go on a safari. Everybody is really uncomfortable with the idea. I don't know why that's the thing to do. You're in Zambia. Why not go on a safari? And we later find out why. So this is something that the husband has planned by himself. And I don't know how y'all put up with this. I don't know how else to say it. So they out here in the middle of nowhere. The husband finds out they got a really discounted price because it's off season and ain't nobody there. Ain't no food in the kitchen. So you done brought your two babies, your wife and your mother-in-law out here, and there's no food. Thank God Elaine put some snacks in her purse, because she was just a mom and that's just what moms do. They always have snacks on them. But I don't know. I feel like as a grown man of children who are like, I don't know how old them kids are. They can't be more than like 7. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? The mom, the mother-in-law said something about, oh, I guess the hospitality here isn't good. No, it's your trifling ass son who you raised to be careless and only think about himself and what he wants to do. So he forgot to bring snacks for the children or to make sure they had dinner. This is what people talk about when they say that when you get married, your husband becomes another child. That makes no sense to me. But anyway, so it's very beautiful. They ended up going to a different location, and on the safari they get to see hippos and zebras and elephants and pumas. It's gorgeous. So something that I noticed, and I think this is the thing with American parents, probably because the US is pretty dangerous, especially now. But we have this way of being so protective of children that we don't allow them to explore. And I noticed this when I was traveling in Europe last year. When I'm in Denmark or Germany or Europe, the community watches out for the kids. So it's almost like the parents can, in a way, chill out. It was bothering me seeing Elaine clutch her children or call them back when they got too far. Because it's just like, okay, first of all, there's really nobody here, right? It's okay to run. It's an open space. It's okay to run. I didn't understand that. And I think maybe it's just because the US is such a high stress environment that you really do need to watch your kids. But I also wonder, what is that fear that you're giving to the children now? Like, now, whereas like they weren't afraid of something, now they see your reaction and they become afraid. Does that make sense? Last but not least, we'll talk about the Davies. Julia's eldest son, Dion, arrives. He's 24. And they have this scene where like her and the boys are talking about getting off the plane in Ghana, and one of the twins, I think his name is Jordan, he said something about how it was surprising to see a whole plane full of black people. And at first he said he was nervous, and I thought that was interesting because I think sometimes we have a perception of ourselves that isn't good, and I think a lot of that is the media. I think a lot of that is, obviously there's hoods in the US, there's ghettos in the US, you see different kind of light, but that same apprehension that we have towards people who look like us comes from whiteness. This is I really did not mean to get into this episode, but these are just my thoughts as I'm watching it. And I think part of it is because that man made an announcement today and I've been having some stress anyways. But I think that's why it's so important for children to have this experience of going to a country where they see so many different people who look just like them, right? Because it can change the narrative. I personally love how a lot of African people don't have to carry that stigma. They don't feel the need to carry certain stigmas that a lot of Black Americans carry, because we grow up thinking that areas with lots of black people are ghetto or are the hood or something. So now you in a country where everybody is black. There's black imagery on the walls. There's you walking by black people. Everywhere is black, black, black. So you can change how you perceive black people, but also how you perceive yourself. There's almost this like unlearning that needs to happen. And I think the earliest that you try to get that done, or at least for her daughter is very little. So something like that doesn't even have to take root. You can change your perception of how you see black people. Really learn to love and embrace who you are, living in a place where it's predominantly black. Julia, back to talking about men. She receives a gift box from a guy that her friend knows. I'm not gonna hold you, the gift box was nice. You know, African men, if they don't do nothing, they're gonna buy you something. You're gonna get something out of it, child. I feel like what I didn't like was that they chose to zero in on this video that the name is escaping me now, but the family who has been living in Ghana for a while and they have a YouTube channel, they did a video about bad things about Ghana, and one of those things is that Ghanaian men will flirt with you, or that Ghanaian men will come at you or whatever. It really, like, I'm just looking at it outside in, it really wasn't a good look for Ghanaian men. And like, we could talk about different perspectives on dating men from the continent or comparing them, But to just have a video that says bad things about Ghana and then just start talking about Ghanaian men is not a good look. If I was a Ghanaian man, I would be bothered. But since I am a Black American woman, I don't know. What's the tea? What's the tea? So anyways, like I said, she got the basket. That was nice. The date, I felt like the second she saw that man, she was not interested in that man. I felt like she was not interested in that man. She sat down, and the second sentence that came out of her mouth was, I have 4 kids. Now, she really does have 4 kids, but I feel like if you really like a man, you're not going to lead with the kids. Because she said, I have 4 kids, and then she looked at him like, so during the date, homeboy kept getting on his phone. That would have really got on my nerves. I don't like when people are on their phone like that. I don't think I've ever been on a date where I felt like somebody was on their phone a lot. I've had that happen in a relationship, but he was like a workaholic. I've never had that happen on a date, especially not a first date. I've had my friends do that, and if my friends do that, I'm like, girl, I will leave. If you want to be on your phone, I'm going. I just think it's rude. But she did mention that she felt like he really wanted to show her that he was busy. I think sometimes with us African men, you'll run into it where there are men who really want to show like I'm important, like that they're self-important, they're like businessmen or whatever, and they have to give that air of it. So they think it's a good look to kind of, oh, I'm so busy, I have to take this call, I have to leave early, stuff like that. I don't know. She was kind of offended that he took food from her plate. Now, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm somebody who does that. I'm sorry to say this, but if I'm on a date with somebody, I'll tell them, get something I like to eat too. People need to know I love food, and I'm going to assume that your food is also my food. I do this with everybody. My sisters, my friends, men if I'm dating somebody. I love to eat, and I want to try everything, and I can't order everything. So your food should just be my food too. But I get how some people might think that's rude. But I honestly don't think he was interested much in the date either. Maybe he caught her vibe and was just like, she's not into it, so I'm gonna leave. I don't know. Cause it was just awkward to me. And she ended the episode was like, oh, is this what Ghanaian men are like? And I don't know, it just wasn't, if this was a commercial for dating a Ghanaian man, it was not a good look. So definitely like the video. Drop down in the comment section and let me know what you thought about this episode. I'm probably going to do maybe a video a week for this show. We'll see what it's giving because they have all the episodes out now. So I don't know, just be on the lookout. Turn your notifications on. And if you love me a lot, you should become a channel member. Yes, my channel is monetized and you can become a member today. So you should do that. You should just do that because you like me. Anyway, this is Keyoka, the Awkward Black Nomad. Peace out.